matches happening that we don't get to catch every single game of, so maybe we do that on Thursday. A little bit of flexibility because I don't know quite what the plan is for Thursday as well, so let's see what happens. Is in the top left, our red Terran. This is going to be from Team Liquid. It is Clem in the grand finals of yet another WardiTV Monday. In the bottom right, our blue Protoss player. This is going to be MaxPax, the third time in a row that they are going to meet in WardiTV Mondays. As yeah, this is actually the fourth time in a row Clem's in the finals. He won every Monday Cup since Monday number 3. So he beat Gumiho in that one. MaxPax was in the finals the week before, lost to Shin, so he's got 3 second place finishes. Clem has 3 first place finishes. Yeah, these guys have really been dominant. It's so cool because the rest of these events have been kind of spread. You know, you look at the top 4 and stuff, and the love is spread across the top 4 with a bunch of different Koreans and Oliveira playing and taking part. And Rex got in the first week knocked out Dark in the round of 8 to make top 4. And yet here we are now with MaxPax Clem domination resuming on a Monday afternoon as we get into this game number 1. Best of 5 series. You actually have Inu, I just saw join us, and he's always a fun cast to jump on, so we'll probably jump on his camera when he starts observing, because he's very good at catching all the things that are happening. Inu has left the game. Okay, maybe not, guys. Yeah, he's like, hey, you want me to observe for you, Wardy? Absolutely not. Yeah. Steal some other cameras until the action kicks off, and we'll jump on ourselves. This lets me jump between the chats and stuff and keep up to date with what's going on a little bit. CC is building, Nexus coming up, our simulator coming through as well on the side of MaxPax. Our warp gate continues to build here just for a little bit. Let me get this up and rolling for the moment. So again, all of this on the go. Again, our adept coming through, the warp gate is producing. Again, Nexus coming out as well. We get everything established for the first few moments. I'll just make a quick note. Actually, I don't need to say this right now. Never mind. Never mind me. As the Twilight Council starts up, we'll just stick to talking about the game. I'll make the note between the games. Clem wins 64% of matches against MaxPax. Seems pretty realistic. There was a while where MaxPax looked very good against Clem. Like, looked as though Clem was really stuck against MaxPax, but those times have definitely become much fewer and far between. Every time MaxPax wins now, it feels like so much more challenging for him. It's never an easy time, as obviously it shouldn't be. We just have our Cyclone coming up, a couple Marines are coming in, and we do have ourselves the few Marines are going to continue to move around for just a little bit here. The Adept will go shading through, look to see what's going on. And that Twilight Council, Chrono Boost in the Blink, no surprises really on that one at the moment, as our Marine joins up and the Adept continues to shade by for a couple of moments. Just going to try and threaten and gather info. It's going to be the Medevac and Widowmine on the way up. But obviously with the Cyclone already out, you know that Clem has so much micro potential. When Cyclones and Marines get across to the other side of the map, this next Adept is going to take some more shots. Cyclone lock-on will break because of the line of sight blocker, but we're in reach to kill that Adept anyway. So that's one of the 2 Adepts down, and now Clem coming across this other side. No battery yet from MaxPax. He's going to try and fight this without a battery, so feeling brave. Let's see what he can do. Let's see if his micro is good enough to make this work for him. The Stalkers do turn the Cyclone around for a moment or two. That Cyclone already going to go join back up with the other Marines. Back up into the center. Gateway, Robo Facility coming online here from MaxPax. That Robo about to finish. The Prism coming up as well. And a few Stalkers continuing to move on in at the same time. So all of that continues into action. Prism and the Blink just continue up. That comes down the right side, going to come dropping straight in over here. A couple of Widow Mines will drop off. Probe's already going to have to pull away defensively. The Stalker's actually going to blink through the Widow Mine. Gets the Medevac. Clem getting pushed back by the other units, and it's going to turn into a pretty okay defense from MaxPax. And again, this was off of 3 gateways, as Clem will have the Raven out as another form of harassment in the near future. He's already going to rally that down at the side. Again, Observer coming up, Engineering Bay, a couple of refineries coming online as well. On the right side, this Raven is going to escape away. Zealot Stalkers And a Prism sitting out overhead. As they do just have the Adept gonna shade. And the Adept just gonna get over there. Oh, it's gonna lose the stim pack though, so Clem actually gonna lose that straight away. MaxPax losing a couple Stalkers for it, but does delay the stim. It wasn't like next to being finished or anything, but it's still nice to delay stim, right? If that gets delayed by, you know, even 30 seconds while you rebuild a tech lab, that is going to add up in your favor. That is the sort of thing that helps out. The Raven gets only a single kill as well. Good defense, good bit of offense from MaxPax. I like how this early game's going for him, honestly. I feel like this has been a very good start for our Protoss. Prism still setting up, and we do have charge on the way up from MaxPax as well here. The bunker setting in at the front from Clem. Cyclone is nearby. Stimpack, Combat Shield, and +1 all building. Again, the CC coming up. A couple of Marauders and Marines coming around. We actually do get a scan to pick off the Observer. The Stalkers are going to blink up as well. Going to try and put some damage onto this bunker. Bunker is going to go down, so the bunker will fall. The Cyclone trying to get locked on wherever possible as well. We step forward. Stalker still taking hits and continuing to blink back. We lock on again with this Cyclone here, pushing the Stalkers away once more. Again, Stim Combat and +1 on the way. Our Stalkers setting off on the right side, charging +1. Robobay as well, coming up here from MaxPax, so we get that started. Extra gateways coming down. Pylon will join in. It's another siege tank shot just into the middle of those Stalkers there, so able to do a bit more damage as the Stalkers drop into the main base with that Prism for the moment. Fire going to step up. Just going to see our Stalkers turning around. Prism still overhead. Stimpack, Combat Shield, and +1 continue to produce. The army of Clem comes down the left-hand side to the bottom. There's the base on the 6 o'clock there. As the Prism continues to get a couple of warp-ins going. Charge is going to finish. The Stimpack still coming through. Will be about to complete as 5 additional gateways coming online. Stalkers get back across to the upper left-hand side, and going to see our Bio going to jump in, pick off the Nexus. Pylon in trouble. Always nice. Clem again straight across, picks the 4th base off. Zealots in the main base. A couple of Widowmines going to try and help play the defense there. The Prism is alive but low, so risky to kind of keep it around. Just going to run that into dead airspace quickly, as Clem was very happy just to get the 4th. He backed off straight away, does not stick around. There are Stalkers that could potentially do some, cause some issues here. This tank backed away early, but is exposed there as the Stalkers jump on it. Clem stimming to try and find a way to trap these Stalkers in. Problem is, we're losing a lot of SCVs once more, and Clem, where do these Stalkers go? Just going to blink to the corner, and they're going to recall. Clem uses a stim already. He's going to stim again. Doesn't really help him do anything. Arguably an overstim, and that's going to keep draining the medevacs of energy, as Clem has a bit of a rough time there in those early stages. Fire will turn. Stalkers get turned back around, +2 attack. Extended thermal lance. Colossus continue to build. Battery in the cannon coming up. More of this army around the left. It's going to knock down this set of rocks and open up that bit of space here as the rocks will go down. Clem on the push once more. Man, for all the things I feel like have gone well for MaxPax, as he's actually going to lose this Prism now, and the resources lost is going to kind of get a bit closer because of that. It does feel as though Clem has... Yeah, I'm going to say, it feels like Clem has a little bit of a advantage still in this game. I mean, let's see what the Colossus can do right now, doing a good job defending. Super Battery is big, and okay, MaxPax is going to push this back comfortably. That's what he needed to do here. Did not want to be in trouble kind of following on from this. Cleans up those Widow Mines as well as an additional bonus at the end. And Clem continues to retreat back up to the top side with the Bioforce. Observer still overhead. A couple of Marauders are moving around. Widow Mines settling. +2 attack on the Forge coming up also as our Stalkers get back to the top. Fire going to split apart. The Widow Mine joining together. Ghosts and the +1 armor upgrade coming in. The Viking in production as well. I'm just going to get ourselves a little scan and a pick off on the Observer. Just going to take that out. Stalkers continue around the right-hand side. There is a 5th base in the bottom left-hand corner, so we're going to get that into position immediately. Couple of Widow Mines firing away. These Stalkers re-engage through, and a couple of those Widow Mines taking some shots. Our Bio will continue across as well. Stalkers still getting chased away back down the bottom right-hand side. Armor upgrade coming through. The Widowmine burrows. Zealot sneaks by. Clem obviously looking to establish his fourth, and MaxPax will then know about it. Still utilizing the Stalkers in the middle of the map. Trying to get something done. Viking takes a couple of shots. Widowmine gets taken out already. And the Zealot, like I said, just confirming the fourth is just nice information. Marine confirms the fifth on the other side of the map as MaxPax continues to expand. And try to just stay a base up on the Terran player. Has that Dark Shrine as well, one of the things that will create a little bit more of a challenge for Clem as we enter the mid lane stages of this game. I mean, we're probably into the mid game now. This is actually starting to get to the point where you'd probably consider describing it as transitioning to later game. Right, DT harass available. Clem's going to think about adding on Ghosts and Vikings as tech choices against the Colossus and then just generic Protoss army in general. And we'll set the stage where MaxPax will be looking for a second tech unit in this game, whether that's to just go into Disruptors or to think about adding Storm on. And then eventually he would turn this into Stargate play for the super late game if the game lets him get to that point. Stalker's trying to find some of those Viking kills because Viking's definitely going to be an important part of these next few minutes. Fire coming across here, and the Stalker Zealot is already ready to fight. A lot of Vikings, so you've got to be super careful. The Ghost, of course, as well. Massive for those EMPs, softening up this Protoss army at any possible opportunity. Turn back around. 2 upgrades are coming about, +3 attack and +1 armor are coming in. The army of MaxPax comes down the ramp and still seeing Clem being chased back up to the top. A little bit of Clem peels out to the left-hand side as well. Going to get ourselves a Marine on the left-hand side. Fire engages, couple of Stalkers taking shots, going down. Two upgrades building on the side of Clem. Zealot Stalker continues up. The Zealot's going to get a few more shots off. The Vikings are going to be there as well. Actually going to come through here and continue to chase the Colossus down. Stalker's still taking hits. Zealot's still taking damage. A Viking gets knocked also. We are in full chase mode here as the Bio steps away. We're going to re-engage through. Clem happy to fight this apparently. He will eat a bunch of Colossus damage. The Viking count's not going to hold out though, and Clem is losing this battle. MaxPax continues to press forward. There's one Colossus low, another pretty healthy, but there's no Vikings left. Okay, one Viking, but it's not going to find a way to that low HP Colossus, unfortunately. Disruptor shots helping to push Clem back during this as I'm actually going to re-engage. Clem still coming back into this fight. He's going to get rid of a lot of the Stalkers in the front easily. This is a Marauder-heavy army. That's why he's doing well against the Stalkers, but it means that the Immortal that's mixed in from MaxPax is actually so good. Actually has 8 kills there. As it's being able to chunk through some Marauders, that Immortal has been a great addition. It helps you out defensively early in the game, but then as the game goes on, you get to this point where it's like, hey, look, I'm actually a pretty darn useful little Immortal over here, you know? I'm pretty heckin' great. CC flying across the left-hand side. Zealot Stalker, Immortal Colossus pushing up. Robo units are really trying to take control of this as a couple of shots come down. Disruptor shot aims and kills a Marauder. Shooting up here, aims and kills a Marine and a Marauder. Blinking forwards too. We're losing Ghosts. The EMP is not even being fully utilized. Disruptors continue to zone. We are going to lose, I think, every Colossus now. So Clem will get rid of the Colossus, but the Zealot's going to try and warp in. However, MaxPax cancels. He thinks he's overstepped his welcome. He's taking damage on the other side. Will warp in there instead defensively against the full Marauder drop. He's getting chased on home, which is never fun for a Protoss to be chased because he takes so much damage in that process as Clem is going to hold and push MaxPax away. And again, he's doing damage on this side. This Marauder drop is doing huge amounts. I'm actually on a 20 supply lead right now. So many tech units have died over the past few moments. We've got 1 Colossus and 1 Disruptor for Protoss. A few Vikings and a couple Ghosts from Clem. That number is rising already. Resources lost 18.7 to 18.5. 212 resource difference in a 14-minute game. As this one so far has been a nail-biter, back and forth. Seesawing from one side to the other. And it is not done yet. Anyone's for the taking here in Game 1 of our Grand Finals. Stalkers will step onto the front. A little EMP comes down. The Stalkers have to step away. The rest of the Bio and the Vikings going to come across as well. Chase those Stalkers back once more. Marauder pulling back as well. And we just have ourselves the Bio Ghost Viking army. Figuring out what it would like to do. +3 attack is just going to be on the way on the Engineering Bay. 2 probes going down on the bottom side. Again, the Nexus on the far right coming online is going to be base number 6. If MaxPax can get away with it, I think it's very realistically going to end up cancelled here as the Ghost and the Bio steps forward. Going to clean that out. Well, the Zealots are going to get hit. And as a Disruptor comes down this ramp on the right side. How come no one uses a medevac upgrade? Honestly, when people get up to the tech that you need for it, people do get it. But what I will say is, I honestly, as a spectator especially, I never see the difference once that medevac upgrade finishes. I'm never like, well, see, that's just changed everything. Maybe you feel it a bit plain, but it's just not worth the money investment for what it does. You don't really need the upgrade, I don't think, a lot of the time. Feedback easily one-shots them then. That's actually interesting. I didn't even think about that. That's interesting. Some people do definitely get it, though. I mean, it's just... Oftentimes, you've probably seen it come into play, and it's just been a non-issue. It's been a non-factor, to be honest. Anyways, Vikings come forward again. That one Colossus is not going to last super long. MaxPax will blink in. Disruptor to zone. Ends up backing away. Zealot's trying to run on the left side, but that's going to be a well-protected base as Bio Ghost is in position right off the start. Deal with that immediately. Once the Bio stepping away, the Zealot's going to get grabbed. Disruptor shot good for a Marauder. It's going to step up. Missile turret goes down. We blink forwards. A couple of Vikings going down as well. Stalkers continue to put some work in. So many Vikings getting cleaned out immediately. Disruptor shot towards the Bio Force. Another one again. Gonna just go for a single Ghost. Now some more Bio units going down as well. Disruptor still firing. Disruptor still trying to land. However, the Bio continues to push on through. Stalkers are taking some serious hits here. +3 attack coming up on the side of Clem. On the other side, Zealots and a DT getting turned around. SCVs have been lost. MaxPax back to Earth, the main army. He actually gets a lot of harassment units away as well, which is great to not have to replace those. He has reestablished this 6 base. And again, look at that resources loss time. We are talking about like a 260, 70 resource loss difference. So like, it's such a close game. They're both mining pretty comfortable amounts as well, as that's going to be a nice EMP to lead into this bottom side. MaxPax's not really in position to deal with that. I do fear that MaxPax's army is getting out-established in these later stages. This is an amazing push from Clem, just completely catches MaxPax out of position, and MaxPax doesn't know what to do about it, it seems. Recall available, but will not recall to that base. But he's also just stationary with his army. He didn't know which direction to move in this. He is going to now catch this group of units. He's going to get rid of the medevacs, and so that is going to be a cleanup, something at least in return from MaxPax finally, because it didn't look like he was getting anything out of this at first. He's going to leave the Disruptor Colossus to play defense at home. Now he's going to recall a good chunk of the Zealots and Stalkers back as well. Maybe try and fight this. That leaves a few Stalkers in the top right. Clem is focused on units to the left at the moment. Going to try and get the Orbital down the left side as well and into position for his base number 6. If he can keep that alive and get that set up. MaxPax still holds this right side base that was his 6, but obviously now he lost the bottom side that was mining for him previously. And Clem loads up the medevac's going to send that in towards one of these bases too. Meanwhile, MaxPax on the map is going to be kind of catching a fight, but then realizes, nope, I need to pull back and deal with this. Stalkers try to position in such a way to deal with this. We actually shoot down one full medevac already. Stalkers can blink to the high ground, defend the main base if required. And Clem's actually having a lot of his supplies stuck in those medevacs. Nowhere good to go. No air unit, though, from MaxPax to go and immediately punish this. We're going to try and come back in as Clem. There are really Stalkers in every position. MaxPax, he doesn't have a Stargate, right? Now, it's been 2/10 of a game to just get a random Stargate up and running. Yeah, I mean, Clem doesn't know where to send those units, but he is keeping a lot of units back because of the threat of that drop, as Nat is going to allow him to actually pick off this base on the right side, as MaxPax does not keep up with that army. Otherwise, he gets right to the bottom right-hand corner here, again, trying everything he can to just open opportunities to drop in and make something happen. He's actually going to escape back through the bottom, and has he actually got MaxPax to lose the drop? I think so. Kind of. He's going to get back in position here. Nothing in the main currently, though. I guess he can blink from here to the main if needed. Almost 20 minutes here for this game 1. Our grand final is starting off in all of the right ways. As we see Zealot, Stalker, Sentry, Colossus, Disruptor, everything moving into the middle. Bio is going to fire. Ghost and Marauder going down already. The rest of the units step away to the left-hand side. Stalkers blink up. A Ghost already in some trouble. EMP is coming in return. Now we're going to see this army of Clem trying to run up this ramp on the left side. Disruptor shot goes, hits a Ghost. Vikings are firing. The Colossus still taking some big hits. Stalkers and Colossus moving up. And that's going to be an orbital on this left side that's going to be taking damage as well. SCVs are dropping down dead. These units are still stuck, and so Clem cannot evacuate those at all. We're going to lose the orbital, and we could maybe retreat over here to get this base next. However, there's 3 libs there, and I wasn't expecting that when I first started my sentiment to it. The libs might just be the perfect kind of amount of defense to make it that it's just really unengageable for MaxPax, something you do not want to actually commit into. Get forward there, the Viking goes down, Disruptor shot tries to land, doesn't quite make it. But the Disruptor shot coming across, the Zealot Stalker going to be there to fight this little Marine and Ghost in the corner as well. The Zealots continue to run about. They're going to surround and kill. Colossus is going to fire a Disruptor Shot again, landing on a couple of Marauders. SCVs are pulling, I think, just across to a different base, but they're going to get caught in the mix. Fortunately, we realized and we turned them around. SCVs are protected. Those little dudes will be able to keep on mining. Now, we were just trying to get them across to the left side. However, they're going to run right into a Zealot run-by, and MaxPax kind of owns this area, so Clem cannot really get over there to defend. We don't manage to capitalize. Those SCVs are going to get away again. Disruptor Shot fires up, a Ghost goes down in that. Colossus putting some work in. Only 3 Vikings on the map, I believe. EMPs obviously will put some of the work in on the Colossus, but the Stalkers should be able to get rid of those Vikings before the Colossus are really in danger. We lose 1. That's a couple of Vikings in the center the Stalkers could not get to. Disruptors continue to zone, but you know what? Clem is running out of supply. For the first time, we're really seeing someone come out with a proper advantage while the fight is still going on. Resources lost is swung in favor of MaxPax to a 5k difference. Going to get a bunch of SCVs here. Disruptor zoning. Some of the Marauders out. Disruptors will keep coming through. The Viking count grew, and it gets rid of the Colossus at least, but Disruptor after Disruptor lands towards Clem's army, forcing him to not be able to engage and forcing damage as well as Clem tries to force the engagement despite not really being able to. He knows this position is so valuable. A few Zealots get in front. They're going to try and tank as the Stalkers get into the arc, but the Disruptor support still available there. Clem steps forward again. Still has Libs defending that bottom left side. I understand you're scared of the run-by, but at this point you've got to get every unit active and available. He did put one of the Libs in position over here. The Stalker Warping is going to be good to play the denial. They did target fire probes initially. With the battery there, it's the right call because the Liberator will never get through a Stalker being healed by a battery. And just as the game gets to kind of being broke, 28 SCVs to 44 probes is when MaxPax established that advantage. That's going to be probably enough to win this. On the right-hand side, a Viking drop because we don't see that every day. Going to go for a few probes, going to manipulate this game a little further. Disruptor too far forward, gets knocked down as well by Clem as he gets a catch, trying to fight his way back into this 26 army supply deficit for Clem. Definitely the one that needs to step back in, but you know what? Even just catching this group of DTs could swing that army supply. That's why Clem's going to stick in this. And he is going to come onto the map, at least was thinking of it. Of course, some good splits into a Disruptor fight as well could be the way for Clem to see success. He's going to get out positioned again to lose an orbital. MaxPax just going to take little by little and step by step advance further ahead in this game. An orbital now means less scans and less mules, less economy for the Terran. One more thing that MaxPax is going to knock off the list of advantages for Clem, or at least shave away at the advantages of Clem with. Blink that, you're going to get a full energy goes. Finally, the EMPs drop, but the Stalkers will just say, cool, we're EMP'd, let's step back. And the DT Zealot combo is going to move in toward the natural expansion / third base. The options available there. Does MaxPax know about the base in the bottom? He does, yes. I mean, there's a sensor tower on it, so he definitely knows something's there. It's just, with the double Liberator, it's hard to justify that position, as we are going to drop the EMP. The DT's revealed, but is there enough units to clean them up? We're going to scan. I don't think Clem realized that he actually hit the perfect EMP on all of those. I guess just double check and make sure that they don't disappear. We do have a missile turret in the corner is going to provide the defense, and, well, guess what? Army supply swings into favor of Clem. I mean, that's a lot of units to lose on the DTs. We are going to see the Viking drop denied. And the Vikings will go down, so that will not go any further as well. Clem still maintains about a 6 army supply advantage. It is neck and neck in this game. Still, somehow, it does feel like MaxPax had a way better set of fights. He is now, what, about 7k resources lost ahead? And he is mining more, too. I think MaxPax honestly needs to... It's weird, because I think MaxPax doesn't want to slow down and settle down, because he doesn't want to let up the pressure and give Clem some time. Because MaxPax probably looks at his army and says, man, my army needs to be doing something all the time. If I sit back, Stalker's Zealot Disruptor, my army melts in some of the fights. If Clem can manipulate the fight for him to be favored, for him to be attacking and, deciding how this goes, I think MaxPax knows that doesn't end well for him, so he's reluctant to slow down. I think finally he does here just because he's like, okay, maybe, continuing to attack isn't quite working. It's a question of whose army is indeed stronger. I mean, honestly, I don't know if I love Clem's army. Yes, some Ghosts, but the Liberators aren't exactly involved. It's not a huge Liberator count. The Libs are there, obviously sat back defensively. So Clem does have the 2 armor upgrade lead as well, which is got to be considered as part of a factor, but Disruptors don't care about upgrades. That's what MaxPax is using here. He's going to turn that one into a big connection. Clem wants to dive in. He wants to make advantage of this right now. MaxPax down 20 army supply. It's 5 more Zealots. This is what I mean. Disruptors can do great for MaxPax, but if Clem can dodge the Disruptors, his army can trade extremely well against what MaxPax is working with here. So It's just issues across the board as the bio gathers back up. The medevacs get to healing. 2 more Colossus from Clem. Sorry, from MaxPax, as Clem does build Vikings as a response. He is getting the anti-air up and available. Another Disruptor shot tries to land. I mean, this phase has been massive for Clem, but it's mining out. MaxPax, I think, is a little bit healthier just in terms of bases that are... Well, honestly, it's just this base that's mining from MaxPax. It's not that healthy, it's just healthier. It took him a long time to get that base up and running initially. Clem has a group of units here going to hit some of the long-distance mining probes and take a few more workers out the game for MaxPax. Continue back the other direction. The Marines and the Ghosts continue up. Marauder and Marines coming in as well. Viking on the way as the army of Clem gets back to the bottom left as well. Clem has got more mineral income, but say mineral income, I mean, he's been trading worse recently. He's still about 6k resource loss, so I guess the last couple of fights have been a little bit more even again. It's been a wild time, man. What a great game. Open up this grand finals. Probably the best game of Clem MaxPax we've had in these grand finals over the past couple of weeks. There's been some good ones, but this one has been excellent. As you see, Colossus stepping up. Zeld's going to try and lead a charge in, maybe. Disruptor wants to fire a couple of Zealots up to the top. Going to reposition as well. The Zealot Stalker being extremely cautious. MaxPax knows that a bad fight can still end this for him. He doesn't really have a lot of mining. He doesn't have a lot of rebuild potential. Plus going to be firing. Another Disruptor shot coming up. Ghost's going to go down. Marine as well. Another Disruptor shot landing also. Disruptors getting grabbed. EMPs are good to weaken those up. Vikings are going to fight. We are going to see... I mean, first Colossus took some damage. Only 3 Vikings left, though. MaxPax is going to type GG because he doesn't think he can win the fight anymore. Oh, my goodness. Losing too much there. He just got caught. And Clem is going to win game number 1. Yeah, this fight starts out, you get chased, you lose a couple of your Disruptors. In fact, you lose all your Disruptors, and that means you don't have the zoning potential in this army. I thought the Colossus might be able to do something. 4 Colossus is kind of scary, but... yeah, I think the problem is there's nothing to buffer for the Colossus either. We got to jump out again and make sure. Cool, we're good. Let's go into game number 2 of this best of 5. In the top right-hand corner of the map, down a game after such a strong fight. Are we going to see the 4K Blink brought out now? Try and turn this around. It is going to be MaxPax as winning. Probably the best game that these guys have played against each other in recent history, in my memory at least. It is Clem in the top left. These two are always such a good match for one another, and when it gets late game and scrappy like that, it's always some very enjoyable StarCraft 2. Clem and MaxPax, game number 2 coming up, getting underway in this best of 5. We look to kick this off. Gateway coming in. And the barracks coming up. And game number 2 beginning. Guys, I just want to take a moment here at the start of this match of the finals. We've got a lot of viewers right now. I'd like to just take a quick little moment to sell out. If you are enjoying what you're watching, loads of great ways to support, obviously. Keep on tuning in every day. We are trying to bring you guys constant StarCraft action. You can follow the channel. You can like the video on YouTube. You can subscribe for free on YouTube as well. Helps us out a lot. If you're enjoying the stream on Twitch and you've got a Prime sub to use, you can subscribe for free. Subscribing does support tournaments just like this one, so do consider subscribing with your Prime. Obviously, all the paid options to support are there as well, whether it's becoming a YouTube member, subscribing on Twitch regularly, donating, super chatting, or whatever else. All of it helps. And the last thing I'd like to mention is the Patreon page at patreon.com/WardiTV, exclamation mark Patreon in the Twitch chat. I think it's in the YouTube description as well. Anything you pledge on Patreon goes directly into more WardiTV tournament prize pools. We are doing our absolute best to make as many tournaments as possible right now while we do not have news of a StarCraft 2 circuit. We've got WardiTV October this week, for example, coming up. That'll resolve next week. We'll be on the case about running something entering November as well. Fear not. So, plenty of StarCraft coming up, but we can't run it without you guys. These WardiTV events are funded by you guys supporting the channel. We don't have some magical sponsor that just keeps pumping money in. It's you guys enjoying the stream and supporting it. So, do consider to check that out and check out the ways to support. It's really appreciated. Thank you for listening to the shout section. Thank you, Penk5, for the 1-year resub on the Prime. Money well spent as always. Thank you so much. as we get into game number 2. And the Reaper gets deflected by the Adept initially. And Arakul going to come in with the Prime sub as well. And Nola10 going to come in with the 28-month resub. Thank you guys for making the sellout section for a minute or two at the start here worthwhile. As a couple of Reapers are going to hit the Adept. And it's just going to be seeing the Adept going to try and fight against. The Reapers are going to be shooting. Would the upgrades have been worth it for MaxPax? I think so. I think it was a long enough game where getting into +2 and +3 armor probably would have been just affordable. One of those times where I think the idea of like, oh, I'm on disruptors, and if I'm on disruptors, I don't need upgrades as much, is something that you get carried away on as we lose one Reaper, but we kill that Adept. Clem killing units early here is going to poke forwards, and the Probe is going to have to evacuate the natural. So just to quickly finish my thought process is, yeah, I think in a game like that, like, it's understandable initially, he doesn't care as much, but as it goes longer, I think an armor upgrade just would have had value for how long the game went, right? Going to be seeing our Probes actually have to pull into this as well. Battery is going to go down. This is looking rough. We are going to get rid of one Hellion, but 2 Reapers and a Hellion remain. At least a Reaper and a Hellion could run into the main base if they want to, but the Probe is on the low ground, so we don't really need to run anywhere. We're going to get Probe number 5 here. If we can get that kill, we can. And this Hellion might even just get to run away as Clem deals damage early. 5 workers killed. Now, it does cost you a Hellion and a few Reapers, but you also get a battery that will have to be remade. You get a couple of Adepts, so some of the armor units going down from MaxPax. MaxPax adds on gateway number 3. Gets Blink now halfway done. He's going to have a Widowmine drop coming his way as well, though, so he's going to have to deal with that fairly shortly. Does the prize pool go beyond first place? Yes, this event, $200 for first, $100 for second, third, and fourth place, taking home $50 each. The WardiTV Mondays. As the Stalkers get there, and the SCV goes down, Bunker will get re-established in a moment. The SCV will finish that up. A few Marines jumping inside. The Probe's going down as the double Widowmine is pretty well handled, to be fair. 2 Probes for 2 mines, but the 2 mines don't die. And that's the issue, is that MaxPax now has got that medevac lingering behind his base, and that's going to be a constant threat. At any point, Clem can bring 2 Widowmines into a mineral line, and if MaxPax isn't paying attention, then that's obviously very bad. I mean, that's obviously just problematic potentially if you're not careful. Can already come back into this main. Blink is done. Try and help out. Widowmines will burrow. We will be able to blink away, but we do not. Probe and a Stalker. Great trade once again for Clem. 1 meter long. King Kong Dong. Thank you so much for the fantastic name with the Prime sub as always. 5-month resub. Appreciate it. Welcome back to the Wardy fam. We're almost on a hype train. If you want to make Mondays a little bit more hype-tastic in the Twitch chat, feel free to drop your Prime. A couple of bits. We do have ourselves the Observer coming up. Tank on the way. Barracks coming through. And we have ourselves the Stalkers of MaxPax ready to jump back into the main base. It's going to be seen. The stim pack is maybe under pressure, but man, the tanks are just so well placed. They cover exactly where they need to protect that stim pack. The only option here for MaxPax for 3 damage is a depot. And that is just experience. Clem knows. He's played against MaxPax so many times. He knows where these blink positions are. He knows what sort of position he needs to cover. He knows where his tank needs to be relative to that tech lab. He will step forward a little bit with tank number 2. Covers a little bit more of the main, but he doesn't actually get that into siege. I thought he was going to siege up straight away, but he didn't. Tank goes down, and good micro from MaxPax should allow him to get a couple Marines here as well. To blink back, use that prison micro as well. We did have the auto turret from the Raven, as you guys saw, getting a couple of probes. It's going to come back in again here to the main base, where it's going to find a few more probes. MaxPax has to pull those away. That damage done early by Clem just feels as though it's created just constant pressure ever since. He jumped back to the Stalkers, at least getting rid of the bunker on the natural. MaxPax is very committed on these Stalkers. He needs to find damage with them. He's only on the 3 gateways, but his third base is only just starting now at 6.5 minutes. This is a late enough third to be kind of like a 4-gate blink Stalker attack. So yes, commitment is being made by MaxPax. He needs value, and he's starting to get it. With the bunker down on the natural, this is a less safe position than it was before. Stimpack is not done yet, which means the Bions have to be very cautious, and SCVs are pulling in as a tanking wall, and that is going to cost you quite a lot of SCVs. MaxPax doing some serious damage here. The Blink Stalker micro has been pretty darn good. We're going to blink forwards here and go for the siege tank on the low ground. No next siege tank building from Clem. If he only has that 1 tank high ground, he might be in trouble here. MaxPax might be able to overwhelm somewhat with the Stalkers. That said, we are on a lot of red and orange Stalkers, and Stim is now done. We have to be careful with how much we use the Stim, but it is an option to speed up the DPS and to obviously go and get a little bit more done. Tank on the low ground, another tank in production again now, as we are seeing ourselves these Stalkers getting pushed away, but 17 SCVs killed. Thank goodness Clem is still doing some more damage across the map, because that's going to stop MaxPax from completely running off with this one. Only 44 probes. I mean, again, he was super late on the third, so he needed to do some damage here. But he definitely found it. Gets into the main. Tank already repositioning. Clem, again, so quick and so good at that. As a couple more Stalkers come through, we'll at least get ourselves one tech lab. Clem built the combat shields on the safer tech lab, though, and so that will not be an issue. We're actually going to give this tech lab over to the barracks from the factory. Wow. Well, MaxPax obviously took a bunch of damage early, and recovering from that was going to be a challenge, but he has found a way to at least make this somewhat competitive. Now when we do eat a couple shots there, the stim comes through, and this is finally full-on retreat time from MaxPax. Another Stalker he can't quite save. He tried to, though. This Blink will be available. Another Stalker. Obviously, the Prism has a couple of spaces now. Will help. Clem pushes MaxPax back finally, as MaxPax got a lot done with these Blink Stalkers. Was it good enough? Is now our question. There's a couple of medevacs retreat down to the bottom side of the map. That's one of those games where if MaxPax had done all this without taking significant damage early, MaxPax probably just runs away with this. But obviously, instead, he kind of equalizes the game a little bit. Again, he's never had a great economy because his third base had to come down super late. He had to commit, he had to decide, hey, look, I'm going to either build Stalkers or get a third base. He chose to build Stalkers. It was the right choice. But the third base being late still comes at a cost. Those medevacs on the right side seen by the Prism. We got a couple more Stalkers warping in defensively. Clem about to have charge. There's army composition about to improve a lot with charge lots able to come forwards and be part of the tanking force. That will help massively. Bio and SCVs get into the third base as well. Kill those tanks already sieging up. Charge about to finish. Templar Archives coming in. Extra gateways coming online too. Simulators coming up. Our Colossus still producing. We bring all of that forward here. Bio just going to jump in. A couple of probes go down. The pylon is going to get grabbed as well, so that will also fall. Medevacs, they're going to turn this in towards the main, but the Stalkers are going to kind of keep them stuck in that corner. Clem will just sit there as long as he needs to, though. Yes, it's supply taken up, but his opponent must use supply to defend against it, which is a big part of it. Archon, Colossus continuing through, the Viking coming over, Ghost Academy about to finish. You're going to see a couple depots coming online still, Marine Marauder still coming up. Step into the middle of the map. Stalkers, just going to be able to grab one Widowmine there. That's nice. It cost you a Stalker in the end, though. I'm just turned around and grabbed what that was as well. Is that just a probe or so? I'm not sure what was in the middle. I don't think it was an observer, right? Have a scan down. Prism dies immediately. That's a shame. As we do get some Zealots in, yes, but obviously with the Prism dead, that's that kind of threat already removed for future attacks. Clem's actually not really having to pull back to deal with this as well. Only 1 or 2 Zealots in mineral lines. Loses a medevac trying to boost backwards. MaxPax going to try to hold on this ramp. 3 Colossus are nice, but no extended thermal lance are going to make this a challenge. Clem is stepping forward very aggressively currently. Zealots continue across the Archons, setting up. Stalkers and Colossus continue to gather in. Medevacs load up once more, just going to be pulling off over the edges. We do have ourselves the again Viking and a few Ghosts coming up. A couple of Vikings, 3 Ghosts, all on the way in for the moment. Medevac's ready to drop forward. So auto turrets are going to drop in. Battery already taking damage as well. EMP's available. Hit those Stalkers. And Robo Bay is about to finish up the extended thermal lance. Marine and Marauder dropping down. The Medevac's into the main base going to drop off. Probe's going to take damage there as well. Recall into the main. Those Medevacs are going to escape just for the moment. Nicely done. Well, Clem still maxed out. MaxPax at least did get to extended thermal lance. Is about to have +1 attack finishing. Clem has not started 2-2. Currently prioritizing the Ghost and an additional Starport Vikings. A lot of gas to be spent there. It's not uncommon to hit kind of 3 to 4 bases and then choose to not continue upgrades and instead get all the different tech options online and to kind of go with that instead. The Raven has 15 probe kills. It has 13. Yeah, it's been pretty good throughout the game. Not a bad Raven at all. Just again, utilizing the dead airspace here on Ghost River. In multiple ways, one of the punishments you can kind of put on the pros player for opening with a Twilight Council. Fire coming across. Just going to be seeing the Archon Colossus coming over as well. Stalker setting up. We are going to be seeing Army in the top right hanging. The Dio Ghost moving out through the bottom as well. Plus 2 attacks on the way in. Disrupt a building. EMP's that Prism as MaxPax gets chased around the corner. A couple of workers going down this Raven. Just have to be careful. Stalker's getting some shots there. So Raven actually takes some hits. Again, MaxPax is so held back because of the threat of all of these different units. Clem creating some freedom for himself, and it is not MaxPax's fault. Like, he's right to be respecting this. It's like 30 supply of Terran here. He's not wrong to have some Stalkers and Archons left behind, but it's hard for him to justify moving on the map in a big way when Clem can easily overwhelm because he's left behind just a little bit to try and make sure that's a defense. It's risky, right? It's dangerous, it's scary. I feel like Clem's playing it well as this Commencement is going to come and step forward, looking to get to the high ground already. Put in position. We're already coming up to 15 minutes here in this game too. This finals turned into a real bang. I mean, the first game alone was greatness. Second game maybe not quite as active, but still looking good. Disruptor, Archon, Stalker coming through, Colossus as well. Shot gonna fire by a Ghost coming over. The army still setting up on that right hand side. I mean, MaxPax gets the Dark Shrine going. We're gonna know that that Dark Shrine is gonna be incredibly important later game. It's such a good harassment option for you as a Protoss player, so having DTs available is kind of essential just for how good it is. It's getting to that point now where DTs can absolutely be afforded as well. We're getting to the late stages, not constant trades. They actually do come in. These Medivacs do get a drop. The Zealot's Archon from the low ground comes in. EMP's going down, and MaxPax, let's just move the Stalkers back for a moment or so, and I mean, he gets rid of the Raven. More Zealots warping in. I think we're going to clean this up, but Clem is now on the bottom right side, and MaxPax pulled out of position a couple times in a row as we just try to move about, keep units busy. I mean, no warping available on the bottom right because he warped into the top instead. Disruptors will try and fire. Clem should already be happy with the base to now. Keeps MaxPax on 4 while he's going up to 5. In comparison to Oceanborn, where MaxPax was taking the 5th base while Clem was just about establishing his 4th, kind of puts it into perspective. Clem was able to win that game, and now he's going to have a much faster expansion in comparison to his opponent going later and deeper. Disrupt shots firing. The Disruptor is going to be coming through. We do have 3 upgrades coming up, plus 2 ship weapons are building. Liberators are still on the way out as well. The rest of the army continues to move about here. Bio, Ghost, Vikings gathering, Medivacs pulling back. Bottom right side, the Marine going to go in toward the Nexus. Well, Archon actually is going to try and fight the planetary that Clem's put up here to try and do exactly this, which is slow down an attack. To be fair, MaxPax gets it and gets away. Okay, he'll lose some Zealots to the snipes in the end. Well, the rest of MaxPax's army joining up. Clem getting into a higher Liberator count. The game is much slower this time around on both sides, right? And that means that you can get more of those tech units up as Clem. Liberators were never really something he was able to really afford last game. It was a lot more chaotic. This fight from MaxPax, though, stepping onto the map, finally gets a good Disruptor shot, but Clem owns him in army supply currently. And I'm not sure if MaxPax is going to be okay. Medivac loads up into the main base. A few Zealots warp in there. Stalkers jump up as well. I think MaxPax just kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, middle of the map, but just getting chased in from a couple of different angles, struggling to find disruptor shots until very late on when being chased. He's going down. Stalker's taking shots. Another disruptor shot firing. Marauder dropping. Colossus shots will go down too. Other unit's going to pull back over. Bio going to get to the corner. MaxPax is just going to say GG. And Clem is going to take a 2-0 lead in this final. Clem is a map away from becoming back-to-back champion. Some crazy damage because the later games are not getting there against Clem, even from some decent spots. So maybe it's just time to try and focus on that instead. Top left-hand side, our red Protoss player is MaxPax, while on the bottom left side of Amphion is Clem, up 2-0 for the moment. CC coming up, STV's producing, getting the racks on the way in as we get settled down. Long games, tough games to recover from, I feel like, here actually. On the side of MaxPax, right? Because you're kind of coming out of these games and, you know, you're playing long, grueling games and you've got nothing to show for it on the scoreboard. Gotta have some mental fortitude to kind of push those back behind you and just try and get on with it. Ring gonna chase. Rope gets pushed away. Look at MaxPax with a super forward Nexus here. So Clem plays the SCV, gets there to block, and then just gonna get the Nexus over here instead. So Engineering Bay block puts the Nexus in a weird place. Clem starts to bunker it up. And this feels like exactly what Clem wants. He wants the Nexus to be out of position. He wants to take advantage of it. Probe at least showing up to deny the bunker. That is a big deal. Gonna drop a battery down. The Stargate continues to come into play. The probe comes back through. The Adept coming up as well. The probe continues to move about. A couple of Hellions will be on the way from Clem, and our Stalker coming up also. Nexus, Stargate, battery continue to come through, as you do have the Adept continuing from MaxPax to shade down to the bottom side of the map. Well, Stargate is obviously a very different way to play, and that does keep you a lot safer throughout the early stages. It will get rid of some of those drops lingering as well that Clem has been very kind of big on throughout those last couple of games. Being one of the issues for MaxPax is you just can't get rid of those lingering drops at all. So this is going to be a very different kind of game at the very least with the Stargate play. 2 more Hellions coming up from Clem. Clem loves to play the Hellions on the back of blocking that Nexus because, again, he feels like he can take advantage of the Protoss units having to be drawn out of position. So MaxPax probably, you know, enough experience against Clem to know that. Should have a plan of how he's going to position his unit and move his unit to deal with this over the next few moments. Hellions into the center of the map. Phoenix and the Warp Gate coming up. A Stalker going to fire. Hellions is going to run into the natural. That's where the Phoenix gets the first lift off. Yeah, perfect. Absolutely spot on. You lift one Hellion, that takes you out of the one-shot potential. Like, as soon as the other Hellion dies, and that Hellion was targeted initially. 3 probes for 4 Hellions. Absolutely acceptable by MaxPax. He is able to get through this early game very nicely. So great job there. As a couple of Phoenix continue down to the bottom. A couple of shots coming out. CC taking some hits. Viking, Cyclone continue to build. Siege tank coming up, and again, a couple extra gates from MaxPax with good defense early. Can he make something happen going into extra gates and maybe powering into something of a counterattack? Potentially. Phoenix gather, just going to move through and get a couple of Vikings in the tank on the way. I like the Vikings, always good against the Phoenix counts. I'm going to use those to try and keep that somewhat under control here as well. Phoenix join up, just going to see a couple of shots coming through as we fire forwards. Actually going to lose one Phoenix immediately, sloppy by MaxPax as he felt as though he could get something there, but just gets punished instead. On his way to the third base, Twilight counts on the Forge building. And just starting to get into the next stage of this game 3 of the best of 5. Well, our probe's coming down the bottom. We'll see if it gets up to no good. Vikings setting up, just going to be having our spawning charge on the way through. The extra gateways are building, probes are still producing. We have ourselves our Phoenix gathering here on the left-hand side. A few Vikings joining up as well. Down 0-2. MaxPax needs to find something. He's added on 6 gateways, including one in this bottom right corner. So just going to play the Phoenix charge. Very aggressive comp with the Temple Archives and more gates coming down. So he's going to be on 10 gates on these 3 bases very quickly here. Was this worse than SCV? Well, he doesn't lose anything, so I guess so. But man, it's dangerous what he's doing. Really risking these Phoenix to get very minimal damage. I get it. You want to be active. You want to be making use of them, but not sure this has been worth it so far as the Vikings continue to push. The Phoenix get chased back up the top. Is it too many Vikings with 3 Phoenix? You could argue yes, but at least he is. I mean, it wasn't 3 Phoenix all the time, right? It was 4. It was potentially going to be more. I think this is maybe one of the ways in which MaxPax can take advantage, right? Because if there's a lot of Vikings, then yes, maybe the Zealot Archon Stalker on the ground can have more of an opportunity because Clem's put resources on those Vikings. But the good news is that these Phoenix are really not getting anything done because of the Vikings, so it'd be one thing if the Phoenix was still getting, you know, multiple SCVs, but the fact that they're being kind of completely shut out, the Vikings are going to be good later as well. They can land in a fight. They're not the best, but they're still somewhat useful. They can land harassment too, so I think this is kind of fine for Clem in terms of how much he's invested there. Phoenix continue across again, units gathering in the middle. We do have our probe still setting up in the bottom right. That's where MaxPax has been warping in some of his units, Zealots and an Archon. He's going to get ready to hit Clem as he gets towards the third base. Don't mind shot, and another Phoenix goes down. Bit of a shame. Would be nice to have some Phoenix even just to lift the tanks up for a moment or two during this fight. Here we go. Units are going to come in from 2 sides. Clem makes this a one-dimensional attack, though. By running straight up the ramp, he's going to make it so that there's not really going to be the multi-prong or the multi-directional attack that MaxPax was looking for. The Archons are already dead. The tanks do not die. That's an extremely good defense from Clem. There's not much more to say than that, as Clem is just going to completely shut MaxPax out on this attempted assault. Yeah, MaxPax just gets pushed back immediately. Great defense from Clem. Pulls up this ramp so the units from the right side do not get, like, you know, if he pulled downwards here, then he gets pincered from 2 sides. He negates that from happening. He zones the Phoenix for a long time, so the tanks don't get lifted until very late, and by the time they do, the Vikings are back there to actually go and shoot the Phoenix down, so the tanks are in the fight the entire time and survive. That's one of the things about keeping the Phoenix count low, is that they can lift, but they can't do much damage to whatever they're lifting. Zealots in the center going to grab a Marine in the right side. We're going to go after the Warp Gate. Ion Vikings coming together. We're going to see that Warp Gate going down. The few Zealots continue over. Fire units probably going to have to lift back up here in the next few moments as continue to go. It's going to be seeing the panel and still taking some shots. Bio going to jump in toward those Zealots as well. Chasing forward. Sentry now going down. Having ourselves the Rest of this Bioforce continuing across. The depth and the sentry going down there. MaxPax is losing a lot. He's got Zeld, showing up because he actually has the Prism here. So Zeld will show up. The Vikings are going to create a bit of a wall and just help with the damage output. Problem is, Clem has not stopped. 50, 60 supply lead in terms of army, and he can just go across the map and probably put a pretty big close to this. MaxPax actually has a ton of workers. But yeah, if you can't stop this army, then what does any of this matter? As Super Battery lasts about 2 seconds. The Zeld's running in are going to get kited. There's a single Archon in terms of tech. Probes are going to be pushed away. The Zealots and the Archon's going to try and come back through. Wouldn't mind shot decent onto a couple of the Zealots. Nexus goes down again. Army pulling back over. Pile on the right side goes down. Nexus is going to get dropped as well. The Zealot's going to come in from a couple of different angles. Turning around. Archon going to get jumped on. One Archon falls. Second Archon falls. The Zealots keep dropping. Stalker Immortal. GG's. Clem takes it 3-0 today.